froze, as the consequences of her last reckless bullet resonated. She had just killed an innocent tourist. Part 1. The Arrivals. Chapter 1. Day 1. 2 months later. Venice Beach International Hostel, Los Angeles. Empty bottles of Budweiser and paper plates stained with remnants of spaghetti bolognese littered the corridors as Tommy made his way from his dormitory room towards the hostel reception desk. He passed 3 young men lying in a crumpled, unconscious heap by the stairs, wearing only brightly coloured underwear. Their drunken state had been taken advantage of, and their faces and chests used as canvases for felt-tip pen graffiti. The expletives, slurs, and crude images of penises and breasts appealed to the childish side of Tommy's sense of humour. At this ungodly hour, most of the guests at Venice Beach International Hostel were fast asleep, scattered throughout the building's 25 rooms of varying sizes. Some contained up to 8 bunks, others were private and housed just 2 people. But it was a rare day if the hostel reached its 120-person capacity. Those drowsily slumped across lounge sofas were surrounded by rucksacks, awaiting shuttle buses to transport them to LAX airport or the Amtrak railway and coach stations. Tommy knew it didn't require a genius to do his job, checking people in and out of the hostel. There wasn't even a computerized system to master, just a tatty, leather-bound ledger with a date written in biro on each page and the names of who was allocated to which room. Payment was cash only, no contactless credit cards, bank transfers, or even traveller's checks. But it was a role he enjoyed, despite the long hours. Secretly, he got a kick from being responsible for choosing which rooms the backpackers looking for no-frills accommodation were placed in. Those who barely spoke English, and so were less likely to complain, were squirreled out of the way towards the back of the building. And those with whom Tommy hoped to build up a rapport were placed in the dormitories that surrounded his. But the bunk adjacent to his own was kept free for when his friend Louis arrived. If he ever arrived. Tommy reached the end of the corridor, walked down a small flight of steps, and arrived at the reception desk, where he would spend the next couple of hours. He turned on a portable television and scanned the ledger to see who'd checked in or out. Once up to speed, he gazed around the room as the darkness outside began to lift, and the orange morning light crept through the thin film of dirt covering the large windows. A yucca plant had outgrown its pot, and its roots spilled from cracks in the side. A water cooler, missing a plug, housed a half-full plastic bottle, with the water surface supporting a delicate skin of green algae. The brown carpet tiles that covered patches of the floor were frayed and mismatched. A rack of pamphlets was mostly empty, with the exception of a few outdated excursion opportunities to Disneyland, Six Flags Magic Mountain, and Universal Studios. There was no getting away from it. The hostel was a dump. But it was a dump Tommy affectionately called home. He glanced at the photographs pinned to the wall, containing familiar faces he'd met during his last 2 months in Los Angeles. Most, like him, were in their early 20s, and while he couldn't always recall their names, he never forgot a face, and they never failed to conjure up a smile. Examining an image of himself, he realized his irregular eating patterns meant he'd lost weight since the picture had been taken, some 8 weeks earlier. He could easily feel his ribs under his t-shirt now, and even his many friendship bands hung loosely from his wrist. His dark brown stubble disguised the gauntness in his face. He made